first time I was really impressed and anxious. The second time I'm still impressed, less anxious. 18 months is a very short time, but in fact we have achieved a lot with Havas compared to last year. As you know, first of all, Alec and campaign have made us a great runner with the choice they have made for 2006, and it was for us very, very good. Secondly, we have obtained in the last year the biggest amount of new business, which has been also a very good point. We have had many new clients joining us. It's hard work, but it's because we have a fantastic team. The team is here. Normally they should be there. I talk because I'm the only guy to talk, but they will talk after. And I believe it's really very key people and a very not normal organization. You know, in this business, traditionally, with Martin, Maurice, in Omnicom, you have a military organization. You have the chairman, he calls the general, they call the captain, then the sergeant, sometimes the general calls the sergeant. It's very important to keep the tribes. When I arrived as the main shareholder, I said I will give stability to the group, I will keep the talents, because in Havas, I believe we have already an incredible amount of talents. These talents, keeping the tribes and the spirits, are making a fantastic job. You have these talents, you have other ones, many here. Dominique, Bertrand. You have new ones arriving. For instance, the arrival of Esterly from Coca-Cola and the other companies in which he has been is a fantastic signal that the team is the key, is not a weakness. It's, in my opinion, a strength, because we are more flexible, we have the possibility of react very quickly, and it's clear that merging more and more the media and the creativity is easier in a network where we have not to hide many conflicts of interest, which is quite important for the other ones. So we believe that our size is a very good point. Fernando said last year we are tiger among elephants. I believe it's true, and I believe you will be surprised on the future about what we are able to do. The second point is the stability. I told you the tribes for me is a better organization than the military one. We believe in this business of communication, we have very important talents. For having these talents feeling well, they need to have freedom. If you have every day the controller asking what they are doing, it's clear that it's not very good, and traditionally such people quit when they can't, a big organization, to create their agencies. In Havas, we want to give everywhere in the world the opportunity to people to feel comfortable and exactly as at home. And we believe that the new economy with the merger of the different companies makes that our clients need to have big organization. And we believe that in Havas we could give umbrella and freedom, which is for me the key of the talents and of the future. To give to our clients the best quality, the best service. We don't try to keep them all the money. For those who are there, keep that in mind. But please, be cool. And it's clear that we give for all the team the spirit. We are not under pressure only. It's clear that we are under pressure because next year, when I will come, I hope, that the results again will have improved. But you understand, when you have time for you, it's different matter. For the digital, for instance, when I see all our colleagues acquiring companies and like in a race, a rush, trying to obtain the companies, I wonder whether it's a good opportunity or not. We have decided to go step by step. Doesn't mean that we will not make big acquisition. We have the money if we want one day to make the acquisition, but we have not this pressure. And that's why I'm very confident in the future of Havas. When I arrived, the question was, will he stay? Now, I believe nobody will do it anymore that I will stay. I'm really committed, involved, not only financially speaking, but with my spirit, with my soul. The second question was, will the team remain? And is the team good enough? Because of course they are very young, and I believe the answer today is clear. When we see the smiling of Mercedes, we know that she is really comfortable, and it's true for them. When I see Maurice and Martin, I would be there, I would be much more comfortable with me than with them. So I believe they will stay. The last question was, will Havas has a chance one day to go back at the size with the big ones? And I believe the 3 points: revolution, which creates for us an opportunity, the key people joining us and existing already in the company.
I always thought, it's right here.
Yeah, sorry. Scusi.
It's okay, grazie. I always thought that heart is more important than money to make money. To do things to the country. But I do strongly believe what I'm saying. Can you explain me, first of all, if you agree, and second, why?
Why what? Sorry.
Why take heart? That's not a good answer, Mr.
The question is how to have people working with you for the clients and for the company. And I believe that to have a good spirit in the company is very important. We have a French sentence which says un bon tambour est meilleur qu'un gros canon. Because at that time in the battle, people playing tambour, ça dit comment? Drums. Was very important to support the morale. So that's what we try to do. You know, these people. You have other ones, huh? We could show Esther, who is somewhere there. We could show Dominique. We could show the chairman of Switzerland, who is also a fantastic pianist, in addition of his talent. So we have many, many ones. Seeing any important client not happy with us. I can even tell you that the new ones, I will not give names, but I could, who priorly were working with competitors, when they discover the day-to-day service of Havas, they are very happy. So that's why it's important. Money is important, but the spirit is also very important.
So, you know my personal answer. Money don't make ideas, only ideas makes money. Ideas are better than money. A question?
You have no chance to compete.
Unfortunately, well, just one thing, I mean, maybe not all of my foreign colleagues know this, but in France, politics are very close to the business. And you have presented your friends, the great people you have at the agency. Well, unfortunately, we don't see your political friends, and which are very close to the power. So I would like to ask you, and everybody knows in France that, of course, people you are with are now actually in power. How are you going to use this leverage for your business? Actually, I'm sort of amazed we're not on your yacht today.
Sorry? Yes, we traditionally never works with the state. We have less than 1% of our turnover, which is done with the state. So we have never had political influence. We have never looked for that because it's not worthwhile for us. For historical reasons, I have some friends, because after my working, I go back home, I go to parties, and I can have relationship with some of them. And it's a tradition in Bolloré family to receive friends. And it's true that Nicolas Sarkozy is an old friend of mine. We know each other since 1981 or something like that, when I have started. And he's a very tough guy, very persistent, and I have always thought that he will succeed. But be sure that it will not help us. It will bother us, because the first national company wanting to give us their activity, we say, oh, we can't, because people will think what you have said. But the tradition of our family is to receive people. I have given the example of Léon Blum, who was the chief of the left party in France before and after the war. But we can give many, many other examples. But to make a long story short and answer to your question, of course we have no leverage. It's more a problem than help, but whatever. Friendship is over everything.
So next year we vote for, next time we vote for Ségolène Royal.
You don't change again.
To introduce me, my name is Robert Galbraith. I work for Meio Mensagem, which is Brazil's main advertising magazine. So I would like to ask a question about Brazil and Latin America, Europe. And I would like to know, what are the perspectives of operating in the Brazilian market now?
It's not that strong. But more importantly, it's because we have the clear strategy of having always the majority.
Statistics that you identified in a company like Aegis before you started investing in that company?
We have had two reasons to enter in this field. The first one, we believe that a revolution was happening, and during the revolution the newcomers have more chance to succeed. And it's on its way, because when you see the growth of the field, it's roughly 5% per year, and if you take in consideration the growth and the rate of digital and the new technologies, you can imagine that the growth will increase in the next future. So that's the first point. We believe that the field is increasing fast. We believe that the competitors, which looks very strong because very big, are fragile, because they are all under the pressure of the financial markets. And it's clear that to have a long-term policy and to make a good deal in such an evolution. The second reason, which is an irrational reason, is how can I continue the story of the group? I told you, but it's because it's very important for me, that after 185 years, I consider that to continue in company like that, in spite of the family fights, in spite of the evolution, in spite of the change of the economy, it's something very important for me. And I thought that to let in the company some assets as communication is more sexy than only oil and pepper. So that's why I've been also in this field. Now, that was the two reasons. I could add a third reason. It's a reason I didn't know arriving in the business, but now I'm so happy with these people that I'm very happy to remain and to have made this choice.
It's just the beginning. Maybe next year we don't see the same thing.
So, for your second question, which is Aegis, first I'm very happy to have Mr. Leonardo, who is one of the highest managers here with us. He's very well known, and it's clear that Aegis is an important story. First of all, let me remind the real story. Before my arrival at the head of Havas, Mr. Lerouil came to see me and said, you have a stake in Havas, maybe you will be at the head one day. We are discussing with Havas. We want to make some deals with Havas. We think there are a lot of synergies. If you arrive, will you continue this policy of the former management? And I said, if you tell that, it's surely true, and we are going to continue. Then I said, but the problem is we can't have links with a group which tomorrow morning can belong to our competitors. So we are going to buy some shares to be sure that we remain independent. And he looked very happy. And he was very happy because after some weeks we have bought more than 5%. We have made the declaration to the takeover panel, and he has reacted on an interview on a very important newspaper, Les Echos, that he was very happy and that he saw that you had a lot of synergy in between Havas and Aegis. Then the story has changed because we have heard that some competitors were upset and wanted to discuss with Aegis. And it's true that we have increased our stake from 5% to more than 25%. And then maybe Mr. Lerwill has considered that his dream was Aegis swallowing Havas, and that then he could have the risk to have Aegis and Havas with a well-balanced agreement. Then he has changed his mind, and you know the story. It's duty to ask to participate, not trying to seek control, try to participate. But let's say all that is not important. I'm sure that in the next years, the two companies will work together. And I'm sure that for Havas, it will be very good. And I'm sure that for Aegis, it will be very good. And the main managers, of course, not the board, but the managers, prefer such a solution. Because if they know that they will never remain independent, that if we tomorrow morning go out, somebody very big will arrive, and they will be swallowed. So we know that they would love to have such an agreement with our group and with Havas. It doesn't mean that it's a merger. It could be commercial agreement, industrial agreements, friendship agreements, we don't know. So, time will tell. As you know, we come from the west of France, which is a very tribe with very persistent people. Some people even consider that we are stubborn. So, we will continue 3 times a year, 4 times a year, to convocate a general meeting. And for the people specialized in this battle, between brackets, it's funny to see Fidelity, who was the leader of the people explaining that we can't enter in the board, having sold half of their stake. And that's why I feel time will tell.
What do you think that you've achieved from these repeated meetings that you've convocated at Aegis? Do you feel that the company is more inclined towards you than it was when you started? Do you feel that there's a kind of change in the mood music towards Havas? And also, could I just follow up by asking you when you want to call the next meeting?
September, after the holidays.
And how do you find
And we believe that, first of all, that's our duty to do it. When you invest your money, everywhere in the world, people, investors are more and more active. And it's normal. That's the democracy of the companies. And the second point is, we believe that step by step, people will consider that it's normal and worthwhile and a win-win agreement for both. So I consider that the time will allow us to do it. And as I mentioned very frequently, I will retire 2022, February the 17th. It will be the date of the second century of existence of our group. You are all invited, keep the date, and I'm sure that before that we will have succeeded.
Personally, I retire at
Before that time. So he has time to deliver.
Small about the digital, in your opinion, about the acquisition made by PBC and what is the Havas strategy in digital and your assets?
Alors, we consider that on a digital basis we are very good. We have developed already everywhere in the world a lot of digital. We have in the media the best guy, Pascal, yeah, he's the best guy, he's a genius, really. And every time we go to clients with him, they say, oh, it's fantastic. And he's making one of the biggest turnover with that. We have everywhere in the world, BTC for instance, it's a fully digital agency. They have the best clients in the world, and we have not waited this actual rush to consider the digital as a development. As Bolloré Group, also, we believe, since a long time, we have been one of the first considering that the digital TV will be a major media with the TNT. As you remember, 3 years ago, people considered that it was stupid. We have done it. We have one of the digital network for the TV. As you know, we are one of the group having put a lot of money to acquire the license for the WiMAX, which will give a new media, the mobility for the net, which is for us something very important. So, to make a long story short, I consider that Havas is already very strong with the digital media, creativity, and in all the aspects of the life.
But digital is not different or separate from advertising for comprehension of other ways to communicate, design, for example, and we consider we have two ways for working differently. One is link every job in communication to the consulting and to work together and not to work separately. In France, we have 3 groups in Euro. We have company, CNO and BETC. Every group has a strong power in digital. And for example, in BETC, digital is so important as advertising in terms of people, with number of people. And in all these other way to think about the model of integration. I don't like the word integration, but I like the word of orientation of communication, global and creative business ideas. And when you have a creative business idea, after you decide if it's advertising, digital, or other things, store, we have many ways of communicate. And I think the model for the future is better. It's a vision, but we think it's better.
And just to kind of add 3 other things. I mean, the first thing is we got into digital very early as a group. If you look at who booked the first ever banner ads in different markets around the world, who built the first ever website in a lot of the big countries around the world, it was actually us. We do things like, we build IBM's global intranet.
Consider the digital. First of all, it's we come from an entrepreneurial family, as Mr. Correa. So we believe much more in creating the company and growing the right growth of buying companies. And second is, I think it's more related to the people who come from traditional media to learn this new language that's digital media. So I think it's more like an migration position of people understanding the media as is the digital. So I don't think, as David said and Mercedes, it's not such a big difference. It's a difference to really to know this new language.
Creatively, it's a good revolution because yesterday advertising is just to have a concept, just do it. And we are in vertical creativity. And you have a concept of just that. Now, the new creativity is to have a circular creativity. You don't need to have an idea or a concept, you need to tell a story, to launch a story. And after, the public creates a story and you reinvent part of the story every day, everywhere. So that is a great revolution in creativity, and we all around the world, we pick the new generation of creativity. We engage 15 new creative directors here, 15 in the world, in every part of the world, with this new spirit to invent advertising of tomorrow.
Just to complete 1 minute the answer of your question regarding digital, we have a man who is also very important in the French area, which is just to remind the first question regarding Mr. Sarkozy. Happily for Havas, 90% of the turnover is out of France. Makes always be very proud to have the President of the Republic, but we have 90% outside. But in the French area, we have a guy very interesting regarding digital, Dominique Delpart. He's the only guy, French, as far as I know, having had an Emmy Award at Hollywood for the digital business. He has created Stream Power. 6 years ago at the TV, you had Big Brother. He has been one of the first guys organizing the TV on the net. We have made many interactive things. So if you want, after the conference, you can talk with him. He's a very interesting guy, and he has a very clear view of what we are doing.
Just to add a few things about what Alfonso was just telling about the digital landscape. It's not a question of old media, new medias, or the global core business will be digitally driven and technology driven. So it will allow everybody in the industry to be focused on more targeted niches and customers and users on one side, and then to get also more targeted metrics and ROI things. So it's a great opportunity, but in the whole industry, TV, radio, press, outdoor, cinema, everything is moving digital. So it's not only the web, it's the whole media landscape that is changing. The first media brand is Google today in the world, and it's crazy that this success has been made by the users, not only by investing in advertising and so on. So we have to reinvent ourselves, and as David has said, it's in the core of each agencies and between the cooperation and creative guy and media guy that I think that Havas can be very successful in this field.
Jacques, just one more. Just one more. Never forget, digital is very interesting, TV is very interesting, but it's very interesting when we have one idea.
Yeah.
Without the idea, I don't know.
The other companies have been paid too much, or in other words, is there a new bubble? And I have a second question. There seem to be less French campaigns shortlisted this year in Cannes. Is there a reason or an explanation? Thank you.
So I can't comment the acquisition of our competitors. If they have done it, it's surely because it's worthwhile. Is it a bubble? Surely yes. And not only in digital. You have a bubble everywhere. And the central banks are increasing rate of interest because they have the deep feeling of the bubble. And it's a real point. They have made in Europe 8 increase, and it's not for only having a newspaper article, it's because they deeply believe that. And the digital, clearly the prices are incredibly high compared to 6 years ago. So is it a bubble? Clearly. Is it a good idea to buy something even if it's a bubble? It's good, yes, because it could be a strategic point. We can't say about that. Regarding the guns and the creativity, which is your second question, and the prices, you have good years and bad years for that. We believe we have fantastic talents in Havas, and we are going to continue to hire the talents in Havas. On va parler de Rémi aussi, qui est quand même le mieux des mieux. Il a eu le fil des 30 dernières années, je crois. Le prix du fil des 30 dernières années, je crois. Et Stéphane, il est pas là et tout. Il y en a plein d'autres dans la salle.
Okay, if you're all able, in about 15 minutes, we're going to be screening a documentary that we've been filming the past 3 or 4 days up and down and all around Cannes here. Many of you might be in it, so you might want to stay to see yourself. Maybe you don't want to stay to see yourself, I don't know. But we'll be screening it in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes here, and again at 4 o'clock. It's a lot of fun, it's very good. You can also see it online on the Havas blog. Yeah?
Thank you.
Simplemente un poco tu impresión de lo que estás viendo este año en Cannes. Dicen que hay bastante más gente. ¿Cómo estás viendo un poquito el nivel también nuestro, etcétera?
La verdad es que, bueno, a nivel español, pues de momento no tienen muy buenos resultados. Creo que la cosa mejore en los próximos días. Y a nivel de gente está, es que más gente que nunca.
¿A qué se puede ver eso?
El sector publicitario está creciendo mucho. Entonces, se está trayendo cada vez más anunciantes. Estoy viendo más anunciantes este año que años anteriores. Y lo que has dicho al principio, el sector publicitario está creciendo en todo el mundo.
Estamos logrando que vengan más anunciantes, que eran uno de los problemas que hay aquí, que somos todos publicitarios o etcétera, o la mayoría.
Por lo menos por nuestra parte, hacemos un gran esfuerzo para que vengan anunciantes.
Que no es fácil.
De hecho, por eso tenemos el Havas Café, en lugar de organizar una gran fiesta, a lo largo de la semana aquí intentamos recibir y atender a los principales anunciantes y otros posibles. Y la verdad es que este año pues hemos tenido una respuesta.
Y el problema de España decíamos que es que brillamos un poquito, el nivel no es el más alto como desde hace años ya, ¿no?
San antes por todas rachas y
últimamente no.
Como el fútbol que puede pasar unos años sin ganar la liga.
Muchas gracias, Alfonso.
Gracias.